So I'm just going to kill this now because the red has a card that gives an attacking troop power. Plus, when he attacks, he gains power. Some of them are playable, and like I said, you could just grind the PvE. Okay, so he's returning a guy from his discard pile to his hand. Draw a card. Nope. Yep, feel free. Links are enabled in chat. I mean, there's a reason they got sued. When this comes into play, it deals damage equal to its power to target champion or troop. So we're going to take 2 and go to 1. So we have to draw something that interacts. And we died. Another thing that I liked about this game, like I'm playing against AI right now, the AI is very good. Well, it's not very good. The AI is reasonable. It's not like Hearthstone where like I played Hearthstone for a while and they just ruled over me, essentially. Or I just ruled over them, essentially. It was just like never a challenge. Let's see if the gauntlet against other players is firing right now. Yeah, $40 versus $500. Like I said, the upper echelon of most expensive decks in this constructed format right now is $300. So there's currently 3 sets. This is a fairly new game. They just took the beta tag off last month, I believe. There's currently 3 sets for constructed. The 4th set is releasing in March, I believe. Hey, we got a match. Alright, I haven't seen this champion before. Let's see what his ability does. And when you play full matches against other players like this in tournament queues, you do play best of 3, just like Magic. Create 3 spider eggs for each opposing champion and put them into their deck. Yeah, we're just going to mulligan. We don't have blue resources. Yeah, this hand's very good, actually. We've got Peak and a ramp spell on 2, so... I haven't spent nearly as much time playing Hex as I have playing Magic, obviously, but from the... I don't know, I've probably logged close to 24 hours on this game already. I've been playing it a lot in the last week. I would say Hex feels like Magic Plus. It does a lot of the same things as Magic, but it's able to have design space that Magic just can't. The digital client is also just like... It has some small issues and things that they need to improve still, but as a whole, like especially the actual gameplay interface, feels a lot better than Magic Online. Not that that sets the bar very high. So we're going to play Wild Shard and play Chlorophilia to ramp here. And then next turn, Counter Magic, just like in Magic, being on the play with Counterspell is much better than being on the draw. So next turn we get to play a blue resource and then have Counterspell up. So if he doesn't add to the board this turn, he's going to be pretty far behind. You get an Inquisition. What's this do? Lethal. When this or another comes into play under your control, create 2 spiderlings. Okay, so this is these spider eggs. It adds 2 of these cards to my deck, and then when I draw this card, I draw another card, but he gets a 1/1 that's unblockable. So, kind of annoying. This is just a 1/3 with Death Touch, essentially, but it added Spiderlings to my deck. Oh, another Counter Magic. Alright, so we're just passing the turn here. We're basically just going to counter whatever he does. Yeah, I'll let him cantrip here. This is just... There's some merit sometimes to playing Counter Magic on their cantrips because it'll make their future cantrips cost more. So, like, he wouldn't have been able to play this. So, I think I'm actually going to Counter Magic this because there's... No, that's just bad. Yeah, I'm just going to let this resolve. No. I'm going to let this resolve. And then, because if he doesn't play something we want to counter magic, we can just peek at the end step and kind of set ourselves up a little bit more. So his hero's ability puts spiderlings into my deck. Right? The spiderlings are less scary than the tarantulas we played yesterday. So we'll peek into a peek. Looking for like a bounce spell to get this off the table or a way to fight it. Alright. Buccaneer's good, but I think I actually want the Master of the Hunt because he's a way to let me close the game. Alright. Sapper's Charge is okay. Unfortunately, his guy has 3 toughness. I'm going to put Peek, and I'm actually going to put a Chlorophilia back into my deck because I wouldn't mind drawing a ramp spell because we're going to miss a shard drop this turn, which is a little unfortunate. I guess our opponent missed a shard drop last turn. No, he didn't because we've ramped, so we're 1 ahead of him. It's unfortunate that he gave us something to counterspell. Alright, there's a resource at least. And that means we're 1 away from being able to cast Windsinger. So an ideal sequence here is he plays something for us to counter magic, and then we draw a shard that we can use right away, and then play Windsinger, and then untap on his turn with Windsinger and double counter magic. This guy's chipping away at us. Hopefully we just don't hit spider eggs for a little bit. That would be great, because those will just add power to his table. Yeah, this is Constructed Gauntlet. I think I'm currently 3-2 in this gauntlet. Come on, just play something that costs 3 or more. Well, he didn't play something to counter, but we also didn't draw a resource, so it's not all bad. He's just slowly chipping away at us with this guy. Now that he saw we missed our 6th resource drop, I would probably be more inclined to jam, because he knows we have to draw a resource to play Windsinger. I haven't drafted. I don't really usually enjoy limited. I prefer the aspect of building constructed decks more often. I was watching one of my buddies draft. He plays counters too. The Ancestor's Chosen. Yeah, gotta... I guess I don't have to counter that. I can just kill it with Sapper's Charge. Yeah, Suffocate puts spiderlings into my deck, so that would make sense. Alright, well there's a shard. We always want to get extra sapphires because the peak card that we're going to put into our deck here lets us look at cards equal to our sapphire charge. His clock's not very fast, so unless we like hit a bunch of spiderlings in a row here, we're not really under pressure, so we're just going to wait to play Windsinger probably until he taps out or until we can have 9 and cast Windsinger with counter up ourselves. This is basically suspending a card. He could also have, there's a 3-cost black card called Kill that just kills a creature. So we drew a spider egg, and then we drew another spider egg, and then we drew a Canarasaurus. Canarasaurus is actually a pretty good draw, so let's just fight one of these spiders. Four Rootfather seems like a lot. So this guy gained us some life when it came out too, so that's not bad. The tunneling card, this is kind of like, the tunneling is kind of like a combination of suspend and morph, because it's face down and eventually it comes off, but we don't know at how many resources it comes off. I'm going to counter this because he might be inclined to fight over it. Nope. Alright. Put some more spiderlings into my deck. We can't block this, right? Yeah, it's unblockable. And this guy, no. And this guy has lethal, which is basically death touch, so we're not going to just throw our guy away for 1 point of life, essentially. So since we're not blocking either of his guys, might as well attack. We thankfully have 2 counter magics. So the way he's been playing, I'm assuming he has counter magic in his hand in his deck. He has sapphires as well, which is the counter magic color. So even if this comes off of tunneling this turn, which it didn't, we have double counter magic. What's the really popular tunneling guy? Reese? Like, that's like a 4/4 or something that makes robots? Another spider egg, which increases his clock by a lot. I guess we'll Oracle Song. This could go poorly if he has counter magic and this comes off of tunneling next turn. That's really unfortunate that we didn't hit a shard. It should come up at 4. Alright, I think I'm still going to leave a counterspell up this turn. I could play Chlorophilia and just leave up Time Ripple. Maybe that's better. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Because I guess even if this comes off, I could hypothetically just Time Ripple it. Azure Fate Sorceress. That's really good. So the spider eggs trigger when they go into the graveyard too, so this card mills me. He skipped his attack phase, probably by mistake. I'm going to Time Ripple his Sorceress here. See if he wants to fight over this. I drew a card to let me fight stuff. We're not going to attack my 2/2 into his 1/3, so I guess we'll just pass. If he plays the Sorceress at the end step, I'm going to use counter magic on it. See if he fights over this. His counter magic of his own. I'm going to counter magic his counter magic. It's more resource efficient to use Suffocate, but I want his counter magic to cost more. So his Suspend card is going to come off and do some bad stuff to us next turn, which is unfortunate, but we have this Mass Polymorph card in our hand, which is gross. It turns all of your opponent's creatures in play and their hand into... we might just get milled out here. Well, he spent all of his resources, so if we find an untapped shard next turn, we should pretty much win the game because we're going to kill all of his creatures. So we're taking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I want to keep the Canarasaurus in play because he lets us gain life when we fight and we have Crocosaurus in our hand. So even if we miss the shard here, we can play Crocosaurus and fight Reese plus Sorceress next turn. Come on. Untap shard. Shard we can use. 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 Spiderling Egg, redraw. That's frustrating. Alright, I guess I'll take a cantrip.